Often, what sets apart habitual winners from people who don't win that often is that hunger, that desire, that spark to just win all the time. Our guest today had a lot of this hunger throughout his professional footballing career. It is this hunger that led him to being a part of multiple title winning teams at both club and international level. And it is the same hunger that he's now carrying into his coaching career. Let's meet one of my favorite footballers ever, Mr. Gouramangi Singh, and find out all about his journey to the very top.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gouramangi Singh, thank you so much, sir, for being here and welcome to In Focus.
Yeah, it's my pleasure for having me, SJ. Thank you so much.
So, let's just start with the very beginning. How did football happen? Like, was it somebody or something specific that got you interested in the game, or was it just an organic playing around the house thing, and then eventually the interest got there?
In my case, because coming from Manipur and the sporting culture is it's pretty strong there, not just about football but sports in general. So growing up, we have a lot of open fields because I come from a small town called Awang Shikmai, which is like some 20 minutes drive away from the capital, Imphal, and we have few open fields even in my village. And every day you will see, like in the morning and the evening, the children, not just the children but the adults playing football. And so I think it was easy for me to get attracted or dragged into developing that interest of playing something. And football was always very much part of, I think, even in the social structure itself, football is very much part of it all my growing up, and I think the society itself. So I think it was very easy for me to, at least the first introduction, I would say, because you see football all around you. So that was pretty much easy. But yes, as you started to build more interest towards the game, you have a couple of senior players who are already playing in the local football clubs. And also at the same time, eventually I got into Tata Football Academy. But even we have a couple of seniors from the super seniors from the first batch of Tata Football Academy, Mr. Balin Singh, we have Renedy, we have even Surkumar is from near to my village, and not just Surkumar, Lolendro. So there are a few names, many names I would say that that I keep hearing about them. So their stories, I don't know very much about their stories, but you always get to hear because they were pretty much doing well then. So yeah, I think that's how over time I developed my interest, and yeah.
So, how was it coming up through the ranks then? Because at that time, football, I mean, even less than now, I mean, it didn't receive that amount of support around the country. So, how was it coming up through the ranks then?
I think everything changed for me once I got selected, and I got selected in Tata Football Academy. That's where I got to understand how football system is in the country. Because I was in a small town playing football, I got to represent my district. But then the coaches from Tata Football Academy used to come, I think once or twice in a year, to have those open trials, and that's how my first interaction with the coaches from Tata Football Academy. And after a lot of trial rounds of trials, I got invited for the final selection in Jamshedpur. That's how I got selected. I spent my formative 4 years there, learning football, just playing football day and morning and evening. Then again, as the Tata Football Academy, a reputed academy, then was the only residential premium academy then. So as I don't know how much you're aware of it, but we used to play. Got an opportunity to play in the IFC Shield, Duran Cup, were like big reputed tournaments, like a pre-season tournament for all the professional club. So for us as an academy team, got opportunity. That's where I think we got selected even for the clubs. So I think that 4 years taught me a lot about Indian football, and it was not an easy journey, but you sign up for that, and you love the game, you're passionate about it, you want to make a name for yourself, you want to break through the through the ranks, you don't know what's going to happen then. Now I can look back and I think, okay, what sort of things happened then, but then you don't know anything. You're just like one of the cadet, one of the training going through going through the journey. But when you made it, yeah, you and you get the chance to live through the journey. It was amazing when I look back now. So it's much easier to talk. But yeah, so things change after TFA. Yeah.
So, who was your biggest support in the formative years? Like friends, family, coaches. Like, who was the biggest support system, especially when you were starting out as a professional, trying to make it as a professional?
In the very beginning, before I joined the Tough Football Academy, even my parents were very concerned because, as you said, that then there was not much about football. And when I go up to my parents and said I want to make football as my career, even they were shocked because they were just concerned. I think not shocked, but they only support me as a son coming up to their parents and said that this is what I want to do. But of course, they always wanted to support, but they're also coming from an academic background. It's a very traditional mindset we all have that you finish your college or uni, then look for a job, look for security. That's what we all, I think, any parents from a working family, that's what they have in their mind. So even it's the same for me. But somewhere I developed this interest that I wanted to pursue and I want to try. I want to give a serious, thought about taking up the game as my career. So even my parents were really, because they don't know where to start and how to support and very clueless. But like I said again, the Top Football Academy, when I got selected, things have changed, and even my dad was very clear that it will be very difficult for me because I don't have any clue. I don't have even friends who I can, ring it up and say that, okay. So I think from here on, probably we will be there as a moral supporters. We'll be there as a family. We'll be there as your parents. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty part about your job, it will be probably tough for all of us from the family to give you any advice. So probably you have to be on your own, trying to find a way. So I think that was, but again, back into my mind, you always have their support. So I think my parents, without their support, I don't think so that I would have made it also. And over the, then once you're in the academy, it's not easy there. It's all about, from the first very day itself, you are put into a survival mode. Because very quickly, I'll just highlight a couple of lines here where we were selected when I went there for the first time, second time to join. Officially, I was handed out a letter about the welcoming letter, you're welcome. But it was clearly written there, like, okay, this is a probation period for 3 to 6 months. If you don't improve, if it's a physically or tactically, you don't improve overall as a player, they have the right to release you. So I was like, okay, this is not going to be, again, an easy ride. And you could see the 16 of us join on the first day. And when we passed out about 4 years, there were like 7 or 8 of us from that first batch. So seeing that rootless, the life can be rootless to you. I mean, you plan something, getting in there with the hope that you're going to make a dream, fulfill your dream, but at times you don't do that. So I think from the very first day itself, we were made it very clear that it's not going to be easy, but it's not possible, and you all can make it if you have that determination. And so that's how you find your way. You have coaches who are right after you from morning for 24/7. I would say, Ranjan sir, Vijay sir, Carlton sir. Carlton Bhai was there towards the end, and they were all very supportive, trying to give us all necessary advice that we are going to face once we step off from the academy. Because in the academy, it's all about, you learning the game, trying to learn about winning games. But once you are in the clubs, people are going to pay you, handed out your contract, and asking you to help the team win matches. So there, things going to be more ruthless. You don't know what the dressing room it means like. So we were given a little bit of idea, hint that things is not going to be as easy as you would like to believe. It's going to be hard, but I think, like I said again, we signed up for that. And so through the journey, you find you met so many people in the journey. So I don't have any one person who I can call a mentor. I can call someone who I look up to. Only person that I call to. So I don't have that one person. Even today, I don't have that one person where I can just pick and call. Uh, but over the over the journey in the last 15, 20 years, yes, you have some friends who have been with you for the last 20, 25 years. You can talk to them. Maybe they're not from football people, but yeah, you just find your way. I guess it's very fun, amazing, but it can be ruthless at times. This profession.
Like you said, there were no mentors or as such throughout the journey. But growing up, were there any athletes, maybe footballers or non-footballers, that inspired you a little bit? Maybe, okay, not you looked up to them, but maybe just as an inspiration. Okay, this person has done a really good job or something like that sort.
Uh, Not any particular person because I started off late. I think
Okay.
comparing to many of my batchmates, even in the village, even in the town, because I was very much into going to school and get a tuition done in the evening and like any other growing up years. But one thing I like reading newspapers. This was again not because maybe I like it, but I think the library teachers or the school, you have your library classes. I think once or twice in a week, and like my friends, they're looking. They'll just get a book and just try to spend whatever an hour, 45 minutes there. And I ended up, or even I used to start. I think when I was in school, I started at least going, even in the halftime. Spend like 10, 15 minutes, just go to the newspapers. There you have all kind of newspapers in the library. Just go to and look to the sport pages. Just to have an idea. This is a long time back. So Indian football was not very much there, to be very honest. There was Telegraph, and they used to write about Monbagan, Bengal Indian team to an extent. At times maybe Dempo or Solgauka or Mahin. So not much. But one person always very stand out there. At times they'll interview. At times they write about Baichung Bhai or and from Manipur we have Ranidi. Or then again in general, Jopal, I am Vision. Those are the like some story about. I think we can and also again in the international level. Yes, we have World Cups. Because then there was not much. We don't get to watch very much the like today every weekend we have Premier League, we have La Liga, which we don't. I mean, at least in my we don't. I didn't get access to watch those games every weekend now.
Yeah, at that time it wasn't there much in India.
Yeah, it wasn't there. So mostly I used to read, collect, or try to keep myself updated about what's happening and all those stuff. So I think those little things you have somewhere in mind, but even I wasn't made of my mind. I wasn't made of my mind that what you really want to do because literally you're busy with your books and uh, just trying to having that very usual growing up years in the school. So football was very much somewhere part of me. I like watching the game whenever I can, go in the evening whenever I can to play. But towards my class 9, 10 that I developed, I try to spend more time. That's where I come, some people say that I used to play, but I started formally, really getting into it like when I was class 9 and 10, that's like I was 14, maybe I was 15, so not very, very early that I started.
So we spoke about how Tata Football Academy was a huge, huge thing at that point for you and your career. So after that, there were a couple of small time stints that happened with a couple of clubs, but I think Churchill Brothers was the big one for you.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
spent a good few years there. You won quite a few trophies there as well. How was that experience on the whole with Churchill Brothers?
If I want to just because life, like I said again, this football profession can be less of time. It teach you the reality of life.
Yeah.
Uh, because you think something that things gonna work this way, but it doesn't work. And as you said, that those few years, there was a point where I felt like somewhere inside me, I believed that the kind of football that I believed when I was because I had a good youth career playing, in all the age group, tournaments, whether it be for the national team. There's somewhere in me that the kind of football that I want to play because I'm not even today, not being modest, but that's a fact that I'm not the strongest center back, but I'm not the fastest center back. But I knew that I have to do certain, things. I have to stick with that. That's my, strength, and I have to understand the game better and kind of football that I want to play. Somewhere, I think I had a very, I had some clarity in my mind that this is the kind of football that I want to play for myself, and I think that will help team. But I was not ready, maybe physically or also mentally. I think it was like I was building up to that. So those couple of years, everything. I think after 3 years, that my journey with Dempo, luckily I was part of the winning dressing room in Dempo. I didn't get much playing time, like in a few minutes or that through the season, but I was surrounded by winners. We won the Fed Cup, we won the I League. The same thing happened when I went to Mahindra again. Win the Cup, in the league. You are also surrounded by some of the India internationals, some of the some top foreign players in the country. I think one takeaway from my oldest, even in the sporting, we reached the semi finals in the consecutive 3 years. I was surrounded by some really big individuals, big winners. I think that was when I look back. That's my I said, okay, it wasn't bad as much as you would like to think that. Okay, I had a difficult 3 years. Yes, I had a difficult 3 years because you were so desperate to get a chance to play and prove yourself, establish yourself. That's a journey you had. 3 years, it was tough, not easy. But I see the takeaway. I was surrounded by some winners, and I think I've learned many things from them. The way how they handle winning, and the way how they find a way to win. Because literally, they won everything those 2 3 years, and I was literally very close part of them, learning from them, talking to them, spending time. Many of them, Mahesh Kavi, Deepak, Climax, Sukumar, Venki, Abhishek, those guys are already part of the senior national team and training with them in and out every day. Khalid Bhai was there in the last season. Not just them, a lot of players. Many of them, many names that I can keep on going, and like Yakubu, Barreto, those days, those guys are a big, huge name. And just to share dressing room with them, learning from them I think was a big takeaway for me. Then maybe when I finally, I felt like maybe it's not going to happen, but I was not ready to give up. I was not ready to give up. It was tough for me. I was not ready to give up. Difficult situations, not getting a chance to play, but I got the opportunity. I think I should thank the Churchill family, Eleanor's family, at least to put the trust upon me. Even in my 4th year, so like, okay, come, you just see that what you can do. Then my journey started from there. I started to play regularly, not missing single games, and I think I took the opportunity with my both hand and support from my teammates, and we had some really good players as well in Churchill, all upcoming, in our mid-20s, in early 20s, and we all established ourselves, won quite a bit there as well, play many finals. So everything changes from there.
Yeah.
So, but those sessions, I think the 3 years that when you are really looking for playing times, playing minutes, those sessions, I think one needs to, not that everyone has to go through the way I went through, but that's how things are planned for you. Then you have to be up for it and don't give up. But you need to believe in something. You need to have some clarity. That's why I said it would have been easy, I think, if I was not sure about the way how I want to play the game. But I was somewhere, and I didn't change anything. The football that I believe in, I tried to still, just try to keep it very simple and just receive pass, just position yourself in be there at the right time, the right place, think about it. So, yeah, that's how it all started. Yeah.
You spoke about how as a centre back probably you weren't physically ready or maybe at on par with most expectations, so to speak. I think you started off as a defensive midfielder and then gradually became a centre back. How challenging was that switch?
I won't say challenging. I think that helps me. That's why I said everything was planned, I would say. Now, if I look back, it's just easy for me to say I'm like maybe too hypothetical now, but I think it was planned for me eventually to play or convert myself. Or, I mean, play, convert my position to, you know, center back.
Yeah.
Uh, because the reason why I started off with defensive midfield was, as I said again, my physicality. I was lean and tall, and the I don't have that because as a center back, you have to be stable, you have to be calm, you have to be composed. You should be ready physically as well to do all those 50
Yeah.
meters, 40 meters sprint in the channel, like, when there's a 1v1. I don't have that. If I look back, I don't have that strength. I don't have that speed. Then
Okay.
I think I was just growing up and trying to develop myself, trying to understand that. I have in mind that maybe that's why even in my town and coaches like, okay, you play in the defensive midfield more like, I think I was aggressive, trying to understand the game. So I was linked up between the midfield and the defensive, trying to be, covering, shielding the back four. Probably, so I was just like trying to be the destructive kind of, the individual in front of the back four and just linked up between the midfield. So then I think that taught me to be more aware of because when you play in the midfield, you have to be aware of the not just the back, but you need to aware of everywhere.
Yeah.
You're right in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right in the center. So you need to understand everything. You need to know that before the world comes, what to do and not to do. So that helped me. That's what I believe. It was not a challenge for me. I should thank Bob Houghton for that, Bob Sir for that. Yeah, he just never played in the center back. Asian game, 3 games I think against, I think it was Myanmar, Maldives and Iran. 90 minutes, that's like 27 to 70 minutes in Asian games, international games.
Yeah.
For me to like, okay, I think you can do the job? So what do you think? I said like, I was desperate to be on the pitch. Even if Bob Sir asked me to play goalkeeper, I would have done that. Not because you were just dying to,
Yeah.
or so desperate because to play, because you have been working so hard. Then finally, Bob Sir coming in, came up and said that he was thinking about my position. I think you might do well in the centre back. And I just grabbed it. That's when my journey started again as a centre back. So I think I owe him a big time to see something in me that I can do well there, and I ended up playing there my entire career as a centre back. So yeah.
I think Indian football like owes a debt of gratitude to Mr. Bob Houghton for this particular move. So
Yeah.
speaking of the Indian football team, how was that as an experience representing the country? And your team won quite a few trophies on the international stage as well. So how was that whole experience? And then obviously you went on to captain the side as well. So please tell us about that side of things.
Yeah, because I think for any football player or any sports individuals or team, it's a player, any individual dream to represent your country. You are ready to do anything for that because I think it's beyond explanation. Like how do you feel when you wear the jersey? I was like, okay, I can give you like few lines, but I was like, that's really not what I mean. I mean, it's just different feeling. I think you just don't have one like direct answer. What do you feel when you wear the jersey? Like, of course you feel good. You don't know really. I mean, you're just happy being wearing the Indian jersey. So yeah, the best part about my journey that I had is all those growing up years, under 17, under 18, under 19, winning being part of like all the Asian championship with under 20, under 17, Iron Dress Trophy, winning the Iron Dress Trophy, being part of the Milk Cup, the huge, it was like a mini World Cup for all the age group teams and some 100+ teams from all over the world, some of the best teams from Europe, from South America, from Australia, from everywhere. and just to be part of that, I think those exposures, I think taught you knowingly, unknowingly then, I think you were preparing for something, big eventually. Um, so from then, like from the age group years, going to Chelsea, then you always wanted to, at some point, wanted to, you know, wanted to grow to the senior team, and that was always your dream. You have seen it, how it is, the, you know, the, that feeling of traveling with the team, playing against some of the best teams in Asia, or some of the best teams from in Europe. Those feelings were something that you can't really explain, and so when you made it to the senior team again, thanks to Bob, like who gave me my debut in Nehru Cup in 2007, and also again, as you mentioned, that we were in the finals, in few tournaments, and we won it. And I think we had some, looking back, those when I look back, then those few years, that 5-6 years we had with with Bob, I think I think I would still say that, yeah, some very good moment of Indian football. There were a lot. I think not just a result, but I don't know whether you remember in Ambedkar playing against for 2020.
So your voice. Now I can. Now I can.
Okay. Now all I'm saying is not just about winning cups or the tournament, but in Delhi had become like a fortress for us.
Yeah.
We played a couple of finals in in Ambedkar Stadium.
Yeah.
And couple of even in the Nehru Stadium. For Delhi, there was a history about Delhi long, in the 50s to 60s, but then I think, the kind of the buzz, kind of interest that because of the national team, those few years, to see those 20,000 people in the Ambedkar Stadium, and I don't know if you remember, I don't know whether you are very
No,
much.
I was there.
Yeah. So even I get a little goosebumps now, but to bring all this crowd in the stadium, and we feel like home there in Delhi.
Yeah.
We feel like home, and there was so much of talk about football. It was not just the entire football, from different walks of life. It was not just about people who should say that okay, Northeast is a very strong when it comes to the sport. But I remember the stadium was packed with from people from all different walks of life.
Yeah.
Different colors, from everyone, and because we talk a lot, and there was a lot of media attention as well. Then I think we were winning, and I think we were playing well as well, and so those feelings you can't explain really. And now you feel proud of it, that you're part of the team, and it's something that I think hopefully in the future, if I have family, I have kids, then I can tell them. Can tell the story that
Definitely.
Once upon a time, Delhi was a place that we really enjoyed playing football, and crowd. Yeah, it was fun years.
Yes. I was there for a few matches. I was a single contributor amongst that crowd in creating that atmosphere. I'm quite proud of that. So around that time, as a football fan growing up, around that time when we were also playing and we were also seeing how Indian football was developing at that time, the team was playing well, results were also happening. Maybe not all of them as expected, but results were also going our way, and the performances and the quality of performances was improving steadily.
Yeah.
Did you think going forward from that particular era, maybe 2007 to 11 or 12-ish, did you think that it will have more of an impact on the coming generations than it actually did? Or why do you think we haven't been able to replicate that over the next to that crescendo of sorts?
Yeah. I mean, I think there will be a lot of argument when it comes to because we are not yet there. Let's be honest. I think a couple of months back, or even a few weeks back, during the those World Cup qualifying, even I said that We are not at the level of Qatar or we're not at the level of Oman. And whether we like it or not, we have to accept that. Let's accept that. And what are we doing for that to catch up with them? Because they are not just standing and waiting for us; they are also moving ahead every day. And like they say, that Rome was not built a day, but Rome was built every day. So what are we doing every day that eventually to reach to where we want? So uh, like I said, a lot of people like in football we say that there's nothing right and nothing wrong in football. So people plan whoever the individual or the group team of group of people who are heading, let's say it's any organization. So they have certain direction, they have certain plan, and there's a certain pathway that they want to follow. And whether you make it or not, that is something that people will definitely come up with their ideas and thoughts or the feedbacks and opinions, and why they are not doing what they expected or not. Cutting it short, those uh, see, I don't know how to put it. Is Bob left when Arman came, Savisa came, Wim was there. I was there for some time. Then Steve Constantine came. Then now Stimag is here for the national team we talk about. So there was like huge debate that is it Stimag doing to what we expected, or are we getting the result that we wanted? So that is my argument. There was, are we only looking from the points point of view, numbers point of view? Then probably out of I think 14 or 15 matches we played, I think 2 win and 6-7 draws. I don't remember the exact numbers, but few losses, and for us to qualify to the next level, if that is what the numbers that we're counting for, then I think he did his job there. I mean, this was for the qualifying to the next round for the AFC. Yeah, if that is what we're looking for, then we have done it. But again, performance again, people will always argue that they're happy or not happy. But the kind of, you said again, that those 5-6 years during the 2007, 2012, it was different. It was completely different scenario there. And then again, it's really difficult, I don't know, to really explain, because we were a group of individuals. The squad was very much the same. Then you have to. What happened was like for me when I was playing for Churchill, I was desperate to be there for every games in the league, because I had to give myself a chance where the board would consider me to select for the improbables again, to call up for the friendlies or for the tournament. So for you to make it to the squad, it wasn't an easy journey.
Yeah.
And I think from those 27, 28, the same names, and for anyone, a young man or a young individual to get in there, he has to do an outstanding job in the I-League. So I think most of us then, we all were literally playing a lot of games as well in the I-League, this was for the ISL. But I think which is very fair from their perspective. Today we see like so many individuals. I think like people, you have a great one season, then you just walk into the national team. Yeah. I'm not trying to be. So I'm just trying to understand that, like I said again, if the results is what the numbers you're talking about, then even the Stimans got the number. You put the team qualify the next round, right? Then again, performance, but eventually, overall, the larger picture. Sorry to I'm just dragging it quite a bit because it's really difficult to explain it. But from the overall, the last perspective, are we at the level of? Because are we among the top 20? No. Are we at the level of football? Wise, are we at the level of Oman or UAE? No. Yeah. Then, if we are thinking of qualifying, that's not even close then to us. So, what are we doing then? So, my argument here is, what I do feel is that we are on the way. We are doing what we have to do, but I think we are doing not enough. We don't know enough because I think we still not that. How are we going to develop the talent pool? The talent pool, when I say talent pool, I think we need to not focus on our grassroots, we need not focus on our youth development because that's where things going.
Yeah,
I think that can make the difference, going forward.
true.
So that is where I do feel that today, I don't know how much we all are on the ground doing, or maybe we are doing trying to contribute in the best way possible. But uh, those youth in grassroots, making sure that if we have a pool of like 40 players for the national team, can we increase it to like 200? Can we make it to like 500?
Yeah,
You know, same quality players. Then only give a headache to the national team coach. He has a pool of then the competitive the competitive level of the league. Can we increase it to 20 or 18? Like, not just the ISL but the I League, the second division. So
yeah,
if we have like 80, 60 teams and the number of quality talent pool, from there the coach can have a headache, like it's a good headache to select. Then I think those are a line that which I feel that for that, then I think the grassroots and the youth development is very important for us going forward. So that is what I do feel. Otherwise, let's be very honest. Number wise, maybe we are fine. We achieved that what we want to work. But the question is again, we are at the level. We are not at the level of some of the those top 10 or top 15 teams.
yeah.
So until unless we don't, just put ourselves there, it's going to be difficult for us.
We probably won't be able to stay there consistently, even if we get a string of results. We won't be able to
Yeah.
actually do it over a longer period of time, and that is where the problem arises. Do you think ISL? What did you think of the concept when ISL was first introduced?
There was a lot of people, even for me, for example, why this is again way too personal, but I'll just share it to you today, where I was part of the I League, and the I League has done so much for the
Yeah.
for Indian football, and continue doing it. And it was a cycle that was going on, and there was some positive things happening. There was some progress going on. Then I still came up with the
Yeah.
idea to do quite a bit, and it came to even us to reach out to the players.
Yeah.
They wanted the players. That's when I think the breakout happened, and even I was part of it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, even a monetary wise, people think it was about the money. It's not the money. Like I think the whatever the amount that we talk about, the sum amount that we talk about. I mean, I was getting in the club as well, even in the
Yeah.
I League. It was not so. There was I didn't give it really too much of a thought because okay, I League is going to go on, and ISL is something that they want to bring it. I thought something new might. That was the whole idea.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're also trying to make us play football.
Yeah.
It was a leap, and yes, there was sort of, but I was not really getting into that political thing, what was going on, not going on. But eventually, we as a football players just wanted to play football, and
Yeah.
they were coming with some promise that they want to little upgrade what we were having then, the quality of the quality of the pitch, maybe trying to bring more crowd, more fans in the stadium, a few little basic things which are fundamentals to the in a football structure. So those are the few things. So I think many of us were okay with that, and we joined the league. And eventually, they all came together, agreed to
Yeah.
to work together. But that's how I just joined. I mean, I've been part of the I League. Done as a team, we have done well, and we have been part of the core of the in the league. So ISL coming in, and just a new idea with a lot more promises. At least promise to at least upgrade the basic things. I think which that did eventually, but that of course we have to do a lot more. But right now, I hope that with 7 or 8 season going on, going to happen now, 8 season. So yeah, I mean we have to agree with that starting the but ISL just can't change Indian football completely.
No,
It just can't change. It just ISL is hierarchies like on top, but
Yeah.
everything has to start from the like I said, the youth development class and how much importance we're giving, how much how much resources we are ready to put in that. And like I said again, if you have like to find it the 30 players top list? Can you make it like, the full of place to lot, like
Yeah.
some 500, 600 players? For that, I think can happen only in the lot more academies, quality academies, uh, and the number has to increase, and the competition level has to increase. The platform, the number of teams has to increase, number of matches has to increase. You can't have a season like with 10 teams or 20 teams, playing 15 games, 16 games. Like you have to have like 40, 50 games. Everyone, the boys has to be playing. So those number has to increase. That's what I feel. So ISL has been doing what they have to do there, but they are not the only answer to the problems or answers to change the whole scenario of the game. So I think every step of that still has to play a big part. We just continue that debate going on, but somewhere I think one area that I keep saying that we need to focus on the grassroots and we need to focus on the youth. If we can develop good quality players from there, chances of us, going forward will be higher.
I, Personally, I also feel that maybe like former players, people who have played football for a good few years and they have played at the highest levels, they should also be brought into the administration side of things, because for like somebody like you've moved on to coaching after your playing career.
Hmm.
I think people like you and others who are doing something like this, they also need to have more of a say, if I'm not wrong, in terms of developing, like you said, the grassroots. The grassroots also get developed with experience more than anything else. Like people who've been there, done that.
Yeah.
So, how did your move to coaching happen? Like, was it something you had in mind throughout, or was it something that started happening towards the later stages in your playing career?
I'm in a transition even today. It's been like 2 years now. Since I hung my boot, and it was, I think it was the easiest way for me to gradually getting into coaching. It was easiest way. When I say easiest way, how much years today, I always wanted to learn, for sure. I remember even I have said this a few times where I give lot of some influence by Xavier in my decision to get into coaching, because when we were traveling together in the national team, he asked me, like, have you thought about it? Like, what are you? Because at some point, you are in your whatever late 20s, and after some years, he himself played for the country, been in a coaching for so many years as a football player, active player. At some point, you are going to leave the game. Have you thought that, like, what you want to do? It's not just about, like, not just a financial part, but just you, because you need to be engaged somewhere. You need to. So I was like, whoa, I have got really seriously thought about it.
Okay.
So he said, like, because he was already in the coaching, so he said, like, so sometimes you can't force yourself to be in the coaching, you can't force yourself to be a coach, but you need to, because it's a very different ball game to be around with the boys or to be around with the senior team. You have done it as a football player, as a player, but coaching is a different ball game. So if you like it, but I said, like, nothing harm trying. So that's when I said, okay, in the off season, I did my 2014. I did the C license. 2018, 17 or 16, I did again the B license. So just 19 I completed the A license. Those journey, it's a different perspective again, learning the game. You're doing it, listening to the instructions from the coaches that you play under, following the rules, following the instructions. And here you're trying to set the rules, and you're trying to again manage the whole the team environment again, and on the pitch and off the pitch as well. Coming up with your plan, trying to set up the rules. So yeah, you ended up again. I started liking it because I have missed many years because I was busy playing. I was busy on the pitch. So I like to go back and also try to spend some time reading up, trying to spend more time listening to podcasts. Because you are so occupied with about your recovery, spending more time in the gym. on the pitch training, then your sleeping hours, what you're eating. So your focus is really somewhere. So all these things, now I'm getting more time to do it now. Like at least spend some time, find a way
Yeah.
that, okay, couple of hours, listen to some podcasts, just read up, on, few things. So I'm kind of enjoying it. I don't know how far this, I don't know what future holds for me when it comes to coaching, but it's not new subject for me. It's football still. So it's much easier. But yes, I have done, with my family. I have, other things that, like business, and I have my training center. Those other things which keeps me going. I have to have something coming in. So to maintain
Yeah.
maintain my lifestyle. That's one part. But what coaching gives is also very much close to. I do miss playing, but coaching gives me close to what I used to get. I used to feel about the game, because I'm still on the ground. I don't do the running. I don't do the. I try to take quite a little bit here and there, uh, but it's the closest that I think I could stay. I don't think so. A Dex job would me gives me, or I would really like to. Yes, you have to be. Yeah, the Dex job. I'm not sure that, but yeah, yeah.
I don't
So
think.
yeah, so I think it was again not really planned from the very beginning, but somewhere I developed it. I want to explore it, and I'm still exploring it. I'm at transition, and I'm enjoying it. And like I said, I'm giving me more time, trying to understand lot of. I think really listening to a lot of things, and yeah, I think it's opening up me to a lot of things which I wasn't aware, and so hopefully, nothing wrong in learning,
No,
having a,
definitely.
yeah.
I think the last 1.5 years, everything being in lockdown and all, I think that must have
Yeah.
also given you a lot of time to catch up on like podcasts and all. What kind
Yeah.
of podcasts do you enjoy listening to?
Uh, right now, because I'm into coaching, and I'm into coaching, and also related to the coaching, related to the sports activity, related to the high performance. So there are a few people, like, who. So I ended up, like, I think the recent ones, I think this is going on in my head for the last couple of weeks, is uh, the Tim Grover.
Okay.
Yeah, is that winning? Yeah. So I think he's interesting. I mean, I've heard some of the interviews from the Relentless, but this winning, and also not just his books, but uh, yeah, I think for the last few days, I'm just like too much of a Tim Grover going on for the
Yeah,
last. Yeah.
and
So yeah, he's amazing. I think he's very clear. I mean, just a lot of the small things about, like, what he was doing then in the late 80s for MJ, before the sports science, before all this high performance, but he
yeah,
was doing it manually. Like, we have GPS to at least just gives you all the states after the training about, like, how many sprints, how many numbers he flowed, all those stuff. But he was doing by himself, like, how many for how many jumps that he did, or how many left and right hand, and planning for all those. I was like, okay, interesting. So yeah. So the high performances, sports psychology, the coaching related, talking with some top coaches, top players, former players, talking about it, about their journey, and yeah, and we have so many other, there's, I think, so many things you get confused. I think you don't actually try not to get confused. Just so many things are there on
yeah.
on the table. Just choose one or two that who you think that might like it, just go for it. So
Yeah,
otherwise you can you can get confused.
true. Very true. Very true. Areas of
Yeah.
interest outside of football, like this, though, again, the podcast and everything is also related to the sport. Do you enjoy like movies and all?
Yes, I do. I'm a very big time Bollywood.
Okay.
I like watching Bollywood movies.
Oh,
Not just that, but yeah. Now, I mean, nowadays, because with the COVID as well, as much as you don't have that many, try to spend some time, catch up on some new things coming on the Netflix, so
yeah.
Hotstar, yeah, Amazon, yeah, and also Yeah, that's not much that you can really do now. But
Yeah.
if I can, then I like playing badminton. But now I have to, yeah, because of the sort of restrictions, COVID.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I like watching movies. I listen to, yeah, watching movies, listen to music. Yeah, I'll just catch up with friends. I don't, I don't go out with a lot of people, but the few people that I have. And yeah, whenever I get a time, there's a weekends off. Then my wife like to travel, so we both at least try to, yeah, we try to just do like a couple of days or nights, just quick. Yeah, just get away. That's something that we like doing it for not long, but yeah, a few days we try to. Yeah, so this, yeah,
She also deserves that. I mean, like all kudos to the work she's done over the last 1.5 years
yeah.
as a pilot. So all kudos to what the work she has done. So
Yeah.
what what is your big hope? I'll start towards wrapping things up now. What is your big hope for the next few years in Indian football? What is your one big hope that okay, this should happen hopefully?
Indian football. Yeah. If we can, we have already trying it. Uh, Not about looking for the shortcuts, but if we can host big events like how we did 2020, 2017 with the 2017 World Cup.
Yeah.
Now we're trying to do with the girls. Can we do it with the boys? Uh, I think because what I'm saying is because we as a country, okay, COVID is keeping the COVID situation an exception. We talk about we wanted to be a big player when it comes to the world economy. We want to be a big player when it comes to the sports. We want to have a say in UN. When there's sort of so many things that we want to do,
Yeah.
and I think we should not just cricket, but we need to because we're a huge country. We have the resources
Yeah.
and these events. Like I said again, I'm not just looking for a shortcut, but at the moment, let's be realistic. If we are not ready to make it there on merit as well to qualify there. But bringing down, I sound very, very, like, I don't know, very, very upfront now. But
No.
those, yeah, if we can bring it down because we have the resources, we are a huge country.
Yeah.
We want to have a say in all other aspects of life, and let's bring down, let's put our proposal, let's to host things, and I think that can have a lot of positive impacts. And we are focusing on trying to have a strong grassroots and youth development programs, and and to have that, and to even have that impact and engagement when there is a plan to have or host such big event will, I think, have a big impact at the lower down there. In socially also, it will have a lot. So I would like to see that. I think at least we have that desire. We have that some that hey, we want to do it and we are ready for it and we have done it. And that's one thing which I would like to see. The rest, I don't see that will be a drastic change much. We will improve. We will improve because everyone is reflecting as a team, as an ISL, as ISL clubs or a league or I League. Everyone's reflecting and try to improve, and I think we will continue growing. But some big changes to happen, some big moments to happen. I think those things can make a change because ISL, they will try to reflect on themselves, push the team, try to bring more quality players or trying to do what they have to do. But I think at the moment we are, because other countries in Asia as well, they are not waiting for us, they're also running away. So we have to be, I think, from all directions, we have to come together and see that how we can make noise for the right reasons, and have some rather bring some changes. That's what I feel.
I really hope that happens.
Yeah, I know it's a very very hopeful thing,
Yeah.
but
One can hope.
other than one can hope. So other than that, to make a it's not gonna suddenly. It will be difficult to change like things overnight. It's all, you have to have a plan, and it's a it's a long-term process, and the process takes time. It just can't change overnight, can't change in 5 months, can't change in 1 year. It has to, there has to be some direction, there has to be some pathway. Yeah.
One final question, then we'll wrap up. Sir. Your one piece of advice for kids who want to become professional footballers in India?
Smart, hardworking, because everyone is working hard. And if you are not part of even working hard, the group, then there's no chance that you can become a football player, or I think in any profession for that, for that matter. So that's smart, hardworking. I think has to come number one, because if you are not thinking about it, you're working hard, but it's going to reflect on are you on the right track or not, and what's your strength and what your weaknesses. Things that you could have done in 3 months, it will drag into like 2 years. Then sports is a game of 10, 12, 15 years if you're lucky. So every day counts, every minute counts, if you really want to make it. And again, question is like, what do you have in you? I mean, what do you have? Like I said, again, the strength and weaknesses, you need to identify it, with the ball and without the ball, your awareness of the game. So those little things, I think, I'm not talking about this. I don't want these things to be coming in when you are like 22, 24. You need to know this when you are 13 or 14. What's your strength and what's your weaknesses? And once you know that, some people say the argument is like, even I do believe that in our sports, your weakness, and try to turn your weakness to your strength. I think it might happen in your lifetime, but like in sports, it's just a short time.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're a left-footed player and you want to make your right foot to be your strength again, or I think you might become good in your right foot, but it might take years also. And do you want to really spend on that? And you really believe in that, you can do it. So no one's going to stop with that. So you have to have a very open thought about it. But so if you are not in my case, for example, if you're not the strongest defender, or the fastest or the strongest defenders, but you want to play football, you want to survive. What should I do then?
Yeah.
So there are like 6'4", 6'5", big giant, like 90 kgs. Now who has a good, strong, physicality presence there, who's quick, who's fast, who's agile, but you are not that. Then do I stop playing football, or you still want to give yourself a chance?
Yeah.
So I think these things, I think you need to realize when you are like very 12, 13 years. For that, we need to have good coaches at the youth levels, at least giving them the right direction, giving them the right advices. And from there, I think that is what I feel. So the smart, hardworking, and once you're in, once you sign up for the thing, then there's no look back then. And believe in, know your weaknesses, know your strength, and just your strength has to be so good that tomorrow people don't see that even you have many weaknesses. So it should be so. You just have to work continuous every day. So smart, hardworking. And yeah, you have to love the game, but you shouldn't feel like you're going off for the training and like you're doing some work. No, because you love the game. If you're a defender, you should love tackling, you should love heading, you should love sprint down in the channels and blocks, putting a body. That has to come naturally from within. But that has to, all these, I think, qualities, all these habits and behaviors needs to develop at the young age.
Yeah. I hope whoever is listening and is around that age group can imbibe this and start taking his career and his footballing sense a lot more seriously, his or her. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for being a part of this and sharing your story.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.